Welcome, seekers of understanding. In the vast tapestry of human interaction, certain threads, woven with intention and perception, dictate the nature of our treatment. Today, we delve into a fundamental principle, a subtle yet potent truth that governs how we are perceived and ultimately how we are addressed. Consider this: the air you project around yourself shapes the very atmosphere of your interactions. Robert Greene's book, The 48 Laws of Power, masterfully distills these timeless principles, showing that the ability to influence others is not a gift, but a strategic art that can be learned and applied. Consider a romantic relationship. An individual who constantly seeks validation, who appears insecure and readily available, may inadvertently invite a less than ideal dynamic. Conversely, someone who values their own time, who possesses a strong sense of self outside the relationship, and who conducts themselves with an inherent dignity, often fosters a more respectful and balanced connection. It's not about playing games, but about embodying a genuine sense of self-worth that naturally elicits a more elevated form of treatment. Consider too the explorer Christopher Columbus. He came from humble origins, yet when he sought patronage, he carried himself not as a mere sailor, but with the dignity and authority of a true visionary. He approached monarchs confidently, never as a beggar, but as a person of equal, if not greater, value, who was offering a world-altering opportunity. He acted as if the chance to support his voyage was a privilege for them. His royal demeanor, his quiet conviction, convinced Ferdinand and Isabella to back him, granting him titles and prestige far beyond his station. He gained immense rewards, not by birth or wealth, but by acting as if he were worthy of them. These historical figures understood a crucial element of human psychology. We tend to treat individuals as they present themselves to be. If one acts with hesitancy, with a sense of inferiority, the world often reflects that assessment back. Conversely, when one embodies confidence, when actions are deliberate and carry a certain weight, the response tends to be one of respect and even reverence. This isn't about arrogance or empty posturing, it is about cultivating an internal sense of self-worth that radiates outward. Let us consider a more contemporary scenario. Imagine a young entrepreneur entering a high-stakes negotiation. They could approach the table with nervous energy, downplaying their achievements, eager to please. Or they could enter with a quiet confidence, articulate their value clearly and concisely, and conduct themselves with the poise of someone who knows their worth. The outcome of that negotiation will invariably be influenced by the image they project. The world takes its cues from you. The principle extends beyond grand stages and business dealings. It permeates our everyday relationships. Think of interactions within a family. If an individual consistently allows themselves to be treated with disrespect, perhaps by not setting boundaries or by constantly seeking approval, that pattern of behavior becomes ingrained. Others will subconsciously adopt that low estimation. However, if that same individual begins to assert their needs with conviction, to carry themselves with self-respect, even within the familiar dynamics of family, the treatment they receive will likely shift. It's a subtle recalibration, a recognition of a change in the presented self. The key is authenticity. This isn't about putting on a false facade. True and lasting respect stems from a genuine belief in your own value. It requires self-awareness, an understanding of your strengths, and a quiet conviction in your inherent worth. The philosopher Balthazar Gracian understood this when he wrote,
"Never lose your self-respect, nor grow too familiar with yourself. Let your integrity itself be your standard of honor, and be more severe in your own judgment of yourself than in obedience to any outward principle. Shun unworthy conduct out of reverence for your own virtue, not out of fear of external censure. Come to the point where you preserve awe before yourself, and you will have no need of Seneca's imaginary tutor.
This is the essence of the matter. Cultivating this inner sense of royalty will naturally translate into your actions, your demeanor, and the way you interact with the world. Think of it as setting your own standard. When you act as though you deserve respect, when your actions reflect a high regard for yourself, you subtly communicate this expectation to others. They, in turn, are more likely to meet that expectation. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy, where your internal state shapes the external reality of your interactions. In essence, to be treated like royalty, you must first conduct yourself as such. It's about projecting an aura of confidence, of self-respect, and of inherent value. It's about understanding the power of perception and consciously shaping the image you present to the world. Remember the lessons of history, observe the dynamics of the present, and reflect on your own interactions. The way you carry yourself dictates the treatment you receive. Ponder this truth. Consider how you present yourself and the messages you subtly convey. The power to shape your interactions lies within you. If you found these insights valuable, please like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the dynamics of human influence.